What's good, YouTube? And welcome to Shots Freaking Fired by the EU office at the NA1. This is awesome to read. The opening line description for them getting Retro Pack 2 as well is Retro Pack 2 is a goldmine for Time Wizard format players. You know that was added in and on for an extra sting. They're continuing Time Wizard over there. This has really been a split between both offices, and I'm so great to see them take a stand like this. I'm excited if you couldn't tell, versus them patting themselves on the shoulders at the NA office, talking about sales, re-waving this on demand, proving I'm not crazy that they were printing out extra instead of holding it back and shipping. And I do think that the difference is night and day between these two offices. The EU isn't just that cool uncle. They have their heads on a lot better, and I feel like should be running more of this game, honestly. But going into the trenches once again, we have another version of a quarter century secret rare card being turned into Starlight rare in the announcement. Nightmare Apprentice was already falling down somewhat slowly. There's only 2 copies under 100, so people were trying to let this go before this kind of an announcement. I've been screaming it from the rooftops that easy access Starlights are coming. It's most likely going to be of QCRs, and we've gotten confirmation this week, and more of them are going to continue to be announced. Now, the second one is interesting because it's Bestial Druid Swarm, and it stirred up conversations of, could you not put this in a chase pull slot? Well, if we go to the product descriptions, we don't know how many Starlight rares are going to be in this pack. We know they're as hard to pull as Prismatic Secrets in terms of the pack itself, but last year, there were the same kind of things in the 10s, the same amount of QCRs per 10 as Prismatic Secrets, but the pool was only 50 for the QCRs, making them the easier cards to pull. So I want to be freaking out until we actually see the disparity of the ratios, how many Starlights there are versus how many different singles are printed as Prismatic Secrets, before really freaking out over the announcement of this being in the Starlight pool. I don't think that's that big of a deal for the single, depending on how Konami chops the setup. However, I didn't notice last year or this year that super rares are completely gone from the 10s. Now, they basically have just made more ultra rares to compensate and pushed everything into that slot, but I feel like it's definitely gone backwards in ratios, where used to there was a ton of different slots for the bottom end, less for the higher, so you had a higher chance to pull, and that's why modern product is failing a lot. It needs better pull ratios for the players to actually go and open this product. It needs to be like every other 10 has something good, not 1 in every 4, but yeah, here we are, and we're gonna see how this year actually pans out. So far, the announcements pretty solid, but we'll start to see pack filler eventually. We're very early into the 10s. Justice Hunters Day 1. It's been a pretty big day for Yu-Gi-Oh! To talk about things. The Starlights and higher ends feel like they're pretty darn expensive, some of them going above pre-sale, and collector rare Sky Striker Mecha Hornet drones is being hunted after by a lot of players. We talk about max rarity Sky Striker way too much on the channel, I feel like. But we also have the K9 Izuna up here in price. It is still floating above $45 towards $48 and is the lightning rod for value in the set. However, I seem to be a little bit wrong about something, and I always eat my L's. The Yummy cards right now are panning out around the same price for opening day. We'll see if this stays the same over the opening weekend and through that week. Typically 1 card, lightning rods, or 2, the value for an archetype and other things fall out, but everything for Yummy is falling out together right now, and that's super interesting. Nothing's trying to hold the value. It's all coming down together, but staying similar across the line. People don't know what card's going to be expensive for them, if any. They could try to play this equilibrium game within the market, and I haven't seen an archetype do that before. Let me know if you have noticed anything through Yu-Gi-Oh! History similar, because I certainly have not. There is the Ishizu stuff, but that ended up not being shorted over here in the US and then shorted it in the EU. Kind of that difference of an L for the EU player base. But yeah, this is really something that I could not have predicted personally. Going through the rest, Dragon Tail is cheap and bringing up the rear, just like I thought it would be. So 2 rights, 1 wrong for me on pre-sales, and those are falling out pretty heavily. I did say that I would think that it felt cheap for Yummy, but now it's all that more affordable right now, and I don't think it'll fall out too much more. Maybe, again, some of the cards might go down and others go up, but for the total deck core, very, very affordable for a meta deck option. Now, will vendors be listing these damaged cards as near mint or be packing and listing before? I don't know. This is a vendor that sent this in to me. We already covered damages once. This is a separate one, and he detailed his response allegedly from Konami, and this is the KDE US support by email and stuff. Please note, we will not be able to replace individual cards. We can only replace a pack for a pack. So if each card came from 10 different packs, we will send you 10 replacement packs that could just have the same issues, by the way, and no guaranteed chase single or pull or anything. They're basically saying, give us your chase pulls that are damaged, we'll give you regular packs to go back in on, when he details 10 damaged ultra rares from his case. This is an issue a lot of vendors are facing. I got so many different comments from people going through this, and I can only feel for stores, for vendors, for players that run into this issue. Some of these are bad enough. I believe they would be marked cards, pack fresh into a sleeve, and get them disqualified from tournaments by judges, or have to replace them within the tournament for a game loss, depending on the variance of the judge and how they're feeling. This is really frustrating, and this is supposed to be set of the year, and this is what's happening with it to many different people. And I've heard of issues in the EU as well. Now, you can erase the bad taste out of your mouth and go, "Ah, vanilla," and this is back to being a $2 card. It's absolutely hilarious to me. This is for Primite Yummy, and so people are starting to buy into this again, and the lowest near mints are around $2. Shared Ride is going up, so both of the, whole Sangan, Graceful Charity, getting arrested through the bus kind of thing are going down, and I find this awesome in terms of you have cheap copies still, but they are going off the market, so if you want yours, you might want to get yours sooner than later. But we do see the secret rares going up, especially the OG, ridiculously so, back towards $15, but as an option, and that old of a card, and it not really having another nice version besides out of the mega packs, which is also going up, you're stuck with gold letter rare, and common. Otherwise, it does make sense that metagame players would be spending $10+ on them at this point. Mistaken Arrest has the same problem of gold letter rare, gold, and secret, and the secrets are up above $20, around $22 for even unlims, and the gold letter rares, I believe, are around $6. I was doing $10 playsets in the Discord shipped, so that's, again, the kind of stuff I was doing in the claims room, not Vendor Man John. I was going, hey, this is costing people way more, would you like a deal? And people said yes, and they went in basically seconds. I limited, I think, how many people could claim on this one also. But do be aware, both versions of the either draw along with or stop you from drawing cards are being played in the format and seeing success and going up. I have no idea on this one, though. Red Lotus King Flame Crime is spiking for both the secret rare and the QCR. We've seen this happen multiple times before for different reasons, so if you're in the know on the reason this time, do let me know in the comment section down below. I am never going to try to stifle my appearance of trying to know everything and that stuff, versus saying, hey, I just don't know what's going on here, but I think y'all should know. It's very much going up, and hopefully somebody has the right reasons. I think the quest for information is more important than being some kind of know-it-all when presenting. Harpy Lady Sister Tournament Pack 1. What a wording until you say Speed Duel is getting bought out. And I wanted to pull up this page because there's so many different options for Holo Harpy Ladies, including that worldwide edition that often gets completely bought out. Well, it's actually under the price right here of the buyout. So, we talk about stamps all the time on cards. First edition stamps, more recently WCQ and YCS. The Speed Duel stamp is not held in high regard. What's held in high regard is the quality of card stock on Speed Duel cards and how nice that is. And I do think this is a good looking version of the card personally, but you do have an ultra rare and it's under $1. You have that Metal Raiders one, the Metal Raiders reprint one, the OG Metal Raiders one, and they're not all going for too much, and there's multiple Metal Raiders printings through history that you could get nice and near mint for cheap. I think that with Speed Duel Tournament Pack 1, it could be that people are finally thinking, Speed Duel's been dying, things have been coming down, now's my time to get in, and even if it repopulates, I got in on the ground floor, because these Blue Eyes, they used to be $80+, and right now, they're $10 after Blue Eyes wrecked the entire Blue Eyes market, and it's that tablet art in ultra rare. That's another thing Speed Duel really failed to do, any unique rarities or things that would be eye-catching until they started to do secrets in those other packs. This is their tournament pack, and it's this lame, honestly. But yeah, tablet arts, they could go up over time to the collectors, sure, but it's Harpies only getting targeted. The Dark Magician girl in here got bought out so many times. We've covered it at least 6 times, and it's at an all-time low once again after, look at that, maybe a little attempt a year ago that fell back out. But when it comes down to this, the word Tournament Pack 1 is probably what investor bros are thinking on, and classic Duel Monsters cards, but that Speed Duel stamp takes away a lot of nostalgia from these, and it's more that if you're buying these, you should be into the actual quality of the cards, maybe the collection line of certain cards like Dark Magician Girl. But if DMG and Blue Eyes, the 2 most popular cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh, aren't able to prop up this kind of set, well, you're not really in a great position with these kinds of cards, are you? Even with the choices of them. But hey, they could have a bright future one day. Blazing Card Tessia. We see the actual Darkwing Blast secret rare getting bought out and starting to go up. Not ridiculously so, but towards $7. It is the OG. Branded continues to get support, and I could see people favoring it over a 10 secret rare, especially over an ultra rare. But there is the alter art, and our version of the Starlight for this has done nothing but go down. So it dodged getting a QCR besides the alter art, and that alter art after that branded announcement, it's coming back down too. So it's the only upward movement out of all of them at the moment. And in your thanks John Moore moment, we already talked about Dark Fusion spiking when I featured it, talking about the market being broken. Well, Big Welcome Labyrinth also got bought out from that $3.50 mark and tripled up. And even Exodia, Pit Stain Exodia, went up a bit. I have been told other market tubers have been talking about these cards being too cheap, so maybe it's not just me and my self-importance, but the spike for Dark Fusion and Big Welcome was right after I featured them. And when it comes to stuff like this, there is that interest initially of, oh, that seems really cheap, that seems like a really good deal, but that's happened with Exodia. Exodia has been bought out 2 or 3 times now and fallen back on its face, literally. I think with this, you're looking at 10% hollow. You don't really call that all that much an ultimate rare now, do you? And it faces the same problem as an icon like Skill Drain in the game, although that has negative feelings with a lot of player versus Exodia Obliterate being a bit different, right? Most people like that goofiness, etc., even if they hate playing against the deck. I think with this one, it does have a bright future, like I've said before. I could see it being a $20, $25 card, so I get it. The etched Dark Fusions look immaculate if you've looked it up, and Big Welcome Labyrinth is a fan favorite. It makes sense that people see this card cheap on screen, and even if I'm saying market broken, look how bad things are, they go and buy it. It's not necessarily a show of market strength that people are willing to go and penny stonk into Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just showing market correction combined with a spotlight, and that's on me, spotlighting the cards for discussion. Anybody who doesn't take that kind of self-accountability and addressing it and talking about it, I don't know. I feel like that's a bit of a weird place to be in, right? And I try to give the variables as well, where it's not just me, but it is me featuring it that spiked these cards, and I do think that's an important self-own to recognize, hey, Spotlight equals this, and that's why I try to be careful with the wording, even though I wasn't telling people to buy this one. I think I was nice on the Dark Fusion. I didn't say anything about these two that were too nice. That being said, thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these discussions. I do think it's important to talk about product drops that are happening overseas that wouldn't have before, and the back and forth situation of the office, even when it ties around the market. I do think those spotlights are important, discussion-wise, personally.